Hi, welcome back to Ink and Bourbon. This is Patrick Leclerc, and I'm going to do a quick video about swords today. So we've talked a couple times about different types of swords, characteristics that make a good cutter or a good thruster, and characteristics of the guards. And I want to show two quick examples of two different guards and show how they would have influenced how the swords were used. So, and a little bit on sword evolution. Disclaimer, I don't know what I don't know. These are both European swords, and I can speak to the evolution of European swords because I've studied it. And I cannot say the same about Asian swords, whether the evolution trends lines went in the same direction. But in general, so this is a very early 19th century, late 18th century sword. It's an American model of 1810 sabre. So as you see, it's got a very simple knuckle bow. It's curved. It's a cutter. So this was the trend in the late 18th, early 19th century. It's got some hand protection, protects against a cut, but not a lot of hand protection and not much against thrust. So this was designed, guard, I have my hand back, either back here, or you'd have it, a raised guard, but you still have the hand back. Keep the hand out of the way. So we see the evolution of this. This is a late 18th century sword. It's a little straighter, a little better point, a little narrower blade, and it's got a 3-bar guard. So I say 3-bar guard because there are 3 bars of brass. 1, 2, 3, and they kind of form together down here. So it gives a little more protection to the front of the hand. It also gives some protection if it's forward, if it's against a thrust. So European swords at the time, European swordplay was developing more to emphasize the point over the edge, and that allowed you, with this guard, you could put your hand more forward safely. So rather than be back here, where I would be with the knuckle bow, I could be out here. So this does a couple things for me. Still showing a lot of good hand protection. I'm forward, I use my point more easily. I can still cut, but my point's more online for quick use of the point. And another thing this does is, in addition to just protect my hand from a straight cut, the knuckle bow, the 3-bar over the knuckle bow gives me a little more protection to this side of my hand. So if a blow is coming down on the side of the blade, it's going to get me. It's going to protect from the front. But another thing that we really don't realize is this is also going to protect more than just your hand from a cut. If I'm out here, a cut at this arm is going to get stopped by the knuckle bow. Whereas here, cut on my arm is going to get through. So this gives you much more protection out here. This makes this a much safer guard. The reason that came up, we can look at things, we can read accounts, and they can make sense to us or not, but the real way that you learn something, the way that I learn something, is to do hands-on. So this is a HEMA sparring saber that I've had for a while. It's a knuckle bow. It's very analogous to this one. They're very close to the same size. The guards are bigger. The guards are bigger because when we fence today, we tend to wear a lot more glove than historically. And this is because I got to go to work tomorrow. I can't be starting IVs on people on the ambulance with broken fingers. So we take a lot more care. So we need a bigger guard to get our hand in. Okay. So this pretty much fills up this guard. So it's a little bit bigger. And that's what I had been using. I recently got a 3-bar saber. These are both from black fencer. So this is a 3-bar saber. Again, it's got the same similar design to the other one. You see the 3 bars, they join. It's got a lot more hand protection. And again, I realized that keeping my hand out is much easier to defend my whole body with this extra guard. Again, this is a big guard for the glove, but it's similar in concept. It's just bigger because this, during the Victorian era, would have been used. You barehanded it with a leather, simple leather glove. This, in modern sport, fencing, sport, HEMA, sparring, all that kind of stuff, we want to protect our hands. So that's why the guard's bigger. But other than that, it's remarkably similar. And so, turns out that this really does make a big difference. It does give you a lot more protection. I noticed it when I was fighting. I could fight more out here and be much safer. Whereas with the knuckle bow, you're more back here. You don't want to be out here, because here I'm giving you a lot of hand to aim at, and I'm giving you the shot at my arm if you manage to come around, especially if you come around with a curve, hook around this way. So, in short, the knuckle bow wasn't just more hand protection, it was more adaptive to a new form of sword fighting, which was more forward presenting, more point oriented. Still, most of those weapons were designed so they could cut, but throughout the 19th century, most European armies started to emphasize the point of the weapon rather than the edge. And there was a lot of debate around it. A lot of different manuals talk about it. But again, this shows a new part of the evolution of the weapon, and this made this a much safer weapon to use in a point forward orientation. So there you go. As always, form and function go hand in hand. Most of the changes you see in a weapon, if they were passed on, if they were fairly common, if they were used across different nations and different types of swords, it's because they worked. So again, Europe moved more from a cutting to a thrusting, more from an arm back to an arm forward guard. And this was one of the things that made that possible. All right, hope you found that interesting. If you did, please like and subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you soon. Take care.